This is not a kid-friendly show.
Yo, what's going on, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. So today we're going to be talking about this post by mod Manti, where he talks about 120 Slayer update, specifically the XP rates and the amnesty for comp capers on release. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. It says, hello everyone. The level cap for Slayer being raised to 120 has been a hot topic. It was the most popular update in the survey at the end of 2016, and we recently released a short survey asking for your opinions on this change. We are aware that both sides of the community have been strong opinions as to why they would or wouldn't want the Slayer level cap to be raised to 120, which is why we wanted to share some of our very early ideas about XP rates and amnesty for completionist capes with you. Please do note that nothing is set in stone just yet, and any/all feedback that you have is always very valuable to us. Now, I will have the link to this forum post in the description below, so if you really want to give your feedback after everything I read off, then go to that link, comment on this post, and give them your ideas. Like they said, they will be taking in all feedback and acting accordingly. So, you got information, you want to be heard, please be part of the discussion. With that out of the way, let's move on. It says the current rates of Slayer. Slayer XP rates do vary depending on the task, but players that tend to go for efficiency, not accounting the Slayer mask, tend to have a set of monsters they rotate through via the use of Slayer points and or Slayer VIP ticket. The more popular monsters are seen to be Abyssal Demons, Aerids, Dark Beasts, Automatons, and Water Fiends for some as well. Rotating through these tasks, players tend to average out around 260k Slayer XP per hour, including getting new tasks, regearing, etc. But this doesn't mean that some monsters aren't more generous, hitting upwards of 600 to 700k an hour at elite Slayer monsters, Ripper Demons, Mammoths, etc. or Aerids is not unheard of. Going 99 to 120 Slayer currently takes around 350 hours based on the average of 260k an hour, while levels 1 through 99 tends to take around 150 to 200, depending on combat levels, gear, and reward/quest unlock progress. Now let's look at the future of the Slayer XP rates. It is still very early to be deciding XP rates, but we still wanted to share our thoughts on how long we'd expect 99 to 1 Slayer to take once Menaphos is released. Other skills such as Dungeoneering tend to have a rather nice progressive curve towards the higher levels, starting off at a few 100,000 and even going well over 1 mil per hour when approaching level 120. This is something we want to achieve with Slayer being raised to 120. With that in mind, we're expecting 99 to 1 Slayer to take around 150 hours and average out to around 600k an hour in the long run. Now let me pause for a second. Bear in mind they say that it's currently 260k XP per hour, but some like Aerids etc. can go as high as like 600 to 700k an hour. So while 600 is the average, we could be expecting much larger XPs per hour than that. So let's get back into this. Even players at level 99 will be achieving higher XP rates than what's currently available, scaling all the way up to the highest monster available. For example, at 99 you would be achieving 300k XP an hour, at level 105 450k XP an hour, and going over 800k XP per hour approaching level 120. This would mean that the higher your Slayer level gets, the higher your rates will be due to unlocking new, more rewarding monsters to slay, potentially hitting rates of well over 1 million XP per hour by the time you get to 120. Again, these are very early ideas and they're almost definitely going to change before release, and your feedback is crucial in order to shape the future of the skill. Now let's jump into the amnesty period for completionist capes. As you might know, there will be an amnesty period during which the completionist capes will be still wearable without having achieved 120 Slayer. The amnesty period will be at least 3 months. Once the amnesty has been lifted, all completionist capes will be unequipped if level 120 has not been achieved. We also have a few other ideas about the amnesty period which we'd like to hear your feedback on, as going through that much Slayer training in a short period of time just to retain your cape might not be something you'd prefer to do. Raising the level requirement weekly. This would work similarly to the statue of Rhiannon in Prifddinas. After the amnesty period, every week players would be required to hit a new Slayer level on week 1 level 100, week 2 101, and so forth. As long as players would gain a level a week, he or she would be able to wear their completionist cape, raising the Slayer requirement by X levels every few months. This would mean that, for example, every 3 months player would be required to achieve 5 Slayer levels. Once the completionist cape amnesty would be lifted, a minimum of 3 months after the launch of Menaphos, players wouldn't have to achieve level 120. They would only be required to achieve level 105. Another 3 months later, level 110, and so forth, raising the amnesty period to 12 months. This would mean that completionist capes could be worn without having achieved level 120 Slayer for a whole year until summer 2018. This way, everyone would have a very fair chance to get their levels up with close to no sense of rush through the content. Other ideas? Please suggest your own ideas, how you'd expect the amnesty period to work. Would it work similarly to a piece of existing content? Could we tie the amnesty period to an iconic NPC in-game? Should there be no amnesty period at all? We'd like to hear your thoughts on this short survey. Moving on to what's next. It says, nothing is set in stone yet, and we wish to make your experience for going for 120 Slayer as enjoyable and rewarding as possible, if you choose to strive for it. The update has been voted the highest in the player survey, and is essential that we hear your thoughts on this as early in the development process as possible. To summarize, we have reviewed the current Slayer rates, we are looking at changing and increasing the rates, we're looking at different ways to introduce the amnesty period for completionist capes. More about it can be found above in the post. We would like to hear your thoughts on 120 Slayer and the amnesty period. Surveys are hyperlinked. So now we need input. If you have not filled in the survey yet, please do so. We'd also love you to tell us which of the amnesty options we are considering you would favor, and we'd love for your feedback on this thread. We cannot reply to every idea certainly, but the Titans will be reading it all in detail and working hard to make the best update we can. Mod Manti and the Titans. Now, this is really interesting overall. I don't really know, quite honestly, how I feel about an amnesty period. Part of me really doesn't want it, and I understand there's a bias on my part as I'm already 120 Slayer, so I would not really have to work towards it. But realistically, they let us know about 120 Slayer a whole year in advance. That is an extremely large amount of time to get 120 Slayer. Like they said, it takes at max 300 hours. You could do Slayer for only an hour a day and be done with it in under a year. That's why a part of me doesn't really want an amnesty, but at the same time I can see why it would be useful, because those who just got 120 Slayer already before the update, it's like not really much of an incentive to train with these new methods unless you're going for 200 mil, which I am, by the way. But if we allow this amnesty, people won't rush to get to 120, meaning when the new Slayer content launches, they'll have a whole bunch of new stuff to get their teeth into, which if they were 120 beforehand, they might just not even engage with it because they've achieved 120. They don't need to do any more Slayer in their eyes. So that's why a part of me thinks that an amnesty is actually really good. So I am torn on the two in a very weird way. I really want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the amnesty, because I can go here or there, to be honest. I'm just not too sure about it. And the XP rates seem to be really interesting. They're going to ramp up the XP rates just like Dungeoneering. So I can see that being like, you know, people really would welcome that, because I know a lot of people were concerned about people training so much Slayer that's just gonna inject so much more items into the game. But if they increase the XP rates, a lot less slaying would be done. Besides, we don't know the drop rates of these new monsters, or like the drop tables actually of these new monsters, so who knows what's gonna be injected in game via these new methods. We don't know yet. We're still gonna have to wait and see. But that about wraps it up. By the way, guys, if you want to contact me in game, I have my friends chat always open. I'm always in there, so if I'm on, just say what's up. I'm always welcome to meet new people, and it's a great place to get to know me on a more personal level in game and not just through the videos. So please be part of my friends chat. Looking forward to seeing you there. Anyways, if you liked the video, hit that like button, and if you enjoyed me and you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape, you're already in the right place. Please hit that subscribe button, and I promise to keep you up to date, my doggy. Anyways, thanks for watching. I am out. Peace.